What's going on, YouTube? So I'm in here at the 225 just to start the video. Basically, this isn't what I want to show you. Recently made a purchase. Kind of a little bit scary, but at the same time it's pretty cool. So as you know, if you've been watching my videos very long, that I started off with doing freshwater tanks basically all my life, and then I would guess about 2 years ago, I think, maybe 2.5, I'd have to go back and check the first video. I was watching some videos on YouTube and seen where a lot of people were growing plants in their fish tanks. I thought it was pretty cool, so I came across a YouTuber. Probably know him if you watch my videos, Dustin's Fish Tanks, and he was showing how to take basically potting soil that you would buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or some big box hardware store, and put it in your tank, and then put gravel over the top, and boom, you've got a simple substrate to grow plants. Thought it was cool, thought I'd give it a try, and boom. I started growing plants in my 30-gallon, then before long I was going to do it in my 125. Well, I found this 225 online, and now you're looking at my 225. So for the last, I would say, year, I've built this tank up, and I have built a controller for it. I got to get my CO2 bottle, but I'm going to put a CO2 bottle on here, and it's pretty much an up and running tank. Not much left to do, just CO2 bottle, and so start actually dosing. I've got all the hardware for the dosing. I've just got to order the stuff, but I didn't want to do that until I've got the CO2 also running at the same time. So kind of sitting here, and I don't know, I've never really had an interest to do saltwater, but it's like I've hit a milestone in the freshwater tanks. Not that I'm bored with it. I still find it very enjoyable, but I was surfing around. We have a sales website here in America called Craigslist. Basically, people post stuff they want to sell or don't want anymore, and you can find good deals. So I always get on there looking for fish tank stuff. Well, I seen a saltwater tank that was a really good price, that I inquired about, and one thing led to another, and I have a saltwater tank now. So let's go in the other room and I'll show you what I've got. So here's the saltwater tank. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a video. I just kind of want to explain, what I'm doing, what I've got, and obviously where my direction is. Now, the tank that I bought is a 75-gallon tank. What you're looking at is not a 75-gallon tank. It's actually my 40-gallon breeder that I've had in storage for a while that I did not know what to do with. So here's the deal. Got the 75-gallon tank sitting here. It was it's not been drilled or anything. So my first plan for my tank setup is I want to drill the 75 and get a overflow that I can pipe it as what they call as a bean animal overflow. Basically, that's 3 pipes coming out of the overflow going down to the sump. One of them is a 100% overflow. The second is 10 to 20% maybe. And then the last one is an emergency overflow in case anything ever gets clogged. Then coming back up to the tank, I'm going to have 2 1-inch bulkheads on each side. I know that's a little bit of an overkill, but I'm going to size it down to a 3/4 inch. By working with a lot of irrigation supply, I've found that it's a little bit better to oversize your pipe to reduce friction loss. So that's kind of my theory with that. So number one step is drilling the tank and getting the overflow on the tank. The next thing I want to do is, it came with a bunch of crushed coral. I've got just a couple tubs of it sitting in here just to keep some of the beneficial bacteria that was actually in the corals itself. So I want to wash that the rest of the way out. I've got it's probably about 2 5-gallon buckets, 3 3/4 the way full. So wash that out really good, so I'm putting in, you know, clean substrate. Then the other thing is, you can see there's a lot of live rock. I was really surprised that there was this much live rock. It actually looks like a little bit more, probably even in the 40, but it's got a lot of aptasia on it, so I want to try to get rid of that. Been reading a lot of different DIY methods of getting rid of it and commercial products to get rid of it, but I think I'm going to go on and spend the money and buy Red Sea's Aptasia X and get rid of it that way. I don't want to. I think when we move the tank and, you know, obviously moving the rocks, the aptasia spread even more. So I don't want to take the risk of it either not working or even getting worse. You can see that over on the right hand side there's some anemones growing. They've actually really opened up here in the last few days. I've actually only had the tank probably about, well, I got it last Saturday. And then there's some other stuff down here on this rock right there behind that tank. I'm not really for sure what it is. I need to do some research and try to determine what it is. So I've got that. Obviously I will have to upgrade some of the equipment. But, you know, that's going to come at time as stuff breaks down, or I feel that I've got the money to replace it. Right now, I've just got a 4-foot T5HO fluorescent light on the tank. The tank came with a big light that has 4 compact 65-watt compacts in it, and the owner told me that she thinks one of the set of compacts has a short in it, so it wasn't working. And then for whatever reason, when I got it home, the second one, it came on for a while and then it went off. So I don't know if, you know, by the moving it around and shaking it, if I either knocked something else loose or what. I've got some new bulbs coming in, so I'll get those in there and I'll open it up and make sure, you know, there's no calcium buildup or anything that accidentally got in the fixture, and test it and see if I can find out where the short's at and fix the light and get it working again. But the long term is obviously, you know, knowing what I've done with my 225, is I want to get LEDs and put on this thing. And, you know, I mean, obviously we're going to stock the tank. Right now there's just a Danzel and a Tang in there. My plan is, you know, quite a few more fish. I mean, I know saltwater tanks can't be stocked as heavy as a freshwater tank and be as forgiving. So, you know, get some more fish, but corals, you know, we want to get a lot more corals, and that's one reason, you know, getting rid of the aptasia, because obviously the aptasia is fighting your corals, from what I've read. But as far as the videos I post for this, they're more or less going to be, maybe I'm reviewing some products, but the rest of them will be, hey, here's where my tank's at. You know, I understand, I've been in the hobby a week as a reefer, but I can still share my experiences. I just won't be 100% when I say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I mean, I'm doing the research too, and I'm learning as I go, and I'm just sharing my experience, kind of with the freshwater plan tanks, but I picked that up a lot easier. One, because I've been in the freshwater hobby, you know, for a good 20 years, 20 plus years. And then as far as the plants, well, I know it's different, but you know, my profession is landscaping outside, you know, around people's houses and businesses. I went to school for landscaping, got a degree in horticulture, so plants come easy to me anyways. So that side of this hobby was really easy. This, it's a little bit scary. I will admit it. I was overwhelmed as I've done research. I've been doing research for quite a while, and I just, you know, it's too much work for me. No, I don't want to do it. And then for whatever reason, I'm going to do it. So I just kind of want to show off. Here's the tank. You know, obviously I'm going to build it up and build a controller for it, and, you know, start dosing it with 2-part, you know, get corals, get more fish, get the sump up and running, and, you know, try to get full gauged in the hobby. But at the same time, I'm going to keep my planted tanks. I mean, you know, it's 2 different characters, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to have multiple tanks going. And at some point, I even want to do a brackish tank. I really have looked into those for quite some time, and I think they'd be a lot of fun. So I've turned to the dark side. I've got a reef tank now. I'm not just a freshwater guy. So let me know what you think. If you've got any advice, shoot it my way. I'm not a, you know, I'm an open book right now. I'm willing to learn, and I want to enjoy this hobby. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.